All right, good morning, class. I hope you had a great weekend. Today we're going to be talking about the Immigration and Naturalization Act of 1965. I'm sure you all read about it in the 100 pages that I assigned to you over the weekend. But first, we need to understand how this bill came to be and then what made it fail in previous sessions of Congress. So, for a little background, we need to know about the Walter McCarran Act, which passed in 1952 and was pretty discriminatory. So let's start off with our student of the day. Maybe they can tell us a little bit about it. Let's see here. Y'all know I can't really read names. Is it Zebra? Zebra?
No, Zainab.
Zainab. Okay, right, Zainab. So maybe, Zainab, do you want to tell us a little bit about this bill?
Well, Professor, the McCarran-Walter Act was originally approved by Congress, but then it was vetoed by President Truman because he thought it was discriminatory and isolationist. The Congress, of course, thought otherwise.
Well, thank you, Zebra. I mean, Zainab, that was great. Now, let's watch a video of one of my colleagues who's a real expert on the McCarran-Walter Act.
And really was an attempt to mastermind the formula for American immigration, to say that we want to give preference to these countries, which were generally Northern and Western Europe, and try and minimize or at least contain the immigration from other countries, primarily Southern and Eastern Europe. So this formula had been created to try and shape who was coming to the United States, who the immigrants would be.
This bill is un-American, isolationist, and discriminatory, and I'm vetoing it.
Senator McCarran, what do you think about this veto?
Well, Senator Walters, we have enough racist votes to overturn it.
I say we take a vote to override President Truman's veto.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
We win.
Did you not read my report?
What's the best thing about your report?
So 12 years later, the immigration debate began again. And now, in the backdrop of the Civil Rights Movement, the Immigration and Naturalization Act of 1965 was debated on the floor of Congress, with Ted Kennedy leading the way. So now let's turn to one of our students of the day to find out a little bit more about how it was successful. Let's see here. Vanessa, do you want to tell us a little bit about it?
Is that the one about legalizing marijuana?
That's absolutely wrong. I'm sorry about that. I think you might fail this year. Okay, let's move on to the next student of the day. Myra, can you tell us a little bit about why the Immigration and Naturalization Act of 1965 was successful?
Well, some people feared that it would cause a rush of immigrants and lead to the massive unemployment. However, others thought the bill would eliminate discrimination that was currently the law, which they believed to be morally wrong. And they argued that only skilled workers would be allowed to immigrate.
Thank you, Myra. That was very enlightening. That was the first competent answer we've heard all day. Okay, so the bill ultimately failed in a previous session of Congress, but then was made into law because of the legislative process.
I am Senator Kennedy, and I speak in favor of this bill because, first, our cities will not be flooded with 1 million immigrants annually. The ethnic mix of this country will not be upset. The bill will not flood our cities with immigrants. It will not upset the ethnic mix of our society. It will not relax the standards of admission. It will not cause our American workers to lose their jobs.
I'm Senator Strom Thurmond, and I disagree with this bill. These people are going to be flooding our streets, creating overpopulation, and I don't agree with that. We deserve our jobs here in America.
I'm Senator Steller, and I agree with this bill because immigrants from Asia and Africa will have to compete and qualify in order to get in quantitatively and qualitatively, which in itself will hold the numbers down.
All right, class, welcome back. I'm sorry we have to meet in another room today, but the other room burnt down. That's a shame. All right, so let's keep going. So how did this bill get signed into law? What was that process like? Do you want to tell us a little bit about that, student of the day?
Well, there was the Fagan bill put forth by Congressman Fagan from Ohio. It was to go into effect immediately versus the 5-year transition, and it took away all quotas and just set the ceiling of 200 $25,000 for immigration with anybody from any country.
Good job. That was a great answer. All right, now to our next student of the day, Craig.
And then, of course, there was the Kennedy bill that he proposed in 1963 that would abolish the national origins quota system over a 5-year span by reducing each country's quota by 1/5 over the 5 years.
All right, that was a great answer, Craig. Thank you. Now, of course, both of those bills failed miserably in Congress, and that's why 1965 they had success. So let's look at a video of one of my colleagues from the law school to tell us a little bit about how this bill was signed into law.
President Johnson signed it, I think, on July 4th at the Statue of Liberty, and he made pronouncements with the legislation.
This is not a revolutionary bill. It will not affect the lives of millions. It will not reshape the structure of our daily lives. This bill simply says that from this day forth, those wishing to immigrate to America shall be admitted on the basis of their skills and close relationship to those already here. So now I will sign this bill.